Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast dedicated to the highs and sometimes lows of crushes. From their first to their worst, we're going to cover them all with a cascade of characters, including our guest today, someone I've shared many an advanced class with back in the day, Willie P. Smith, a father, teacher, leader, and all-around badass knitter who is here to confess about his animated crush, Merlin, from the Seven Deadly Sins. Willie, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm excited. Everyone, this is Willie from high school. I haven't talked to him, well, other than Facebook, in like 16 years since we graduated. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Lots has changed.
So first off, I am not shocked your crush comes from anime because growing up you did give off an anime watcher vibe with your nerdiness. However, this crush didn't develop until you were almost 10 years out from graduation. Was that when you got into anime or just when you discovered the sinful realm Merlin exists in?
Definitely the latter. When it comes to anime, it takes a while for you to really get engaged with the content, and like most of the stories and the sagas go years, and it takes a while that kind of time for a character to develop, much like a human, at least if you're trying to learn about them and know about them. So yeah, it definitely took that amount of time, and I didn't really discover the sins until around 10 years after I got out, so like 2015 or so, and I was hooked ever since.
Why did you start watching, reading? What got you into it?
Oh, definitely. Just the whole lore of it, the background story of like the sins and the commandments, and how these people are made to, or these characters are made to have these personal traits and qualities and struggles that they're dealing with. And just like most anime, if not all anime, it's very much a viewing glass into life itself. So it's definitely intriguing, and since it's animated, it's very a lot more attractive to watch than you literally get into the reading later on because of the interest. And that's kind of hard to say about other types of entertainment that come in different forms.
So that's interesting. So earlier this year, I talked to a handful of anime cosplayers who happen to be Black, because I've always found it interesting how a lot of Black people just fucking love anime. So when I talked to the cosplayers, we got into how it's not really that strange when you look back at the 70s and Black folks' obsession with like the Kung Fu and Bruce Lee. As a Black man, were you wary of stepping into that form of entertainment or not? Because I have a feeling probably no, because you always have had this confidence about you, but what about it?
Well, for sure, I definitely wasn't weary about stepping into that kind of realm, because there was just this aura of like mystery and interest and difference, because as a Black man, you're just basically covered up or like enveloped in like this story of struggle and strife and stereotypes, and all you can really like is a few things like sports, namely basketball or football or some kind of physical thing, and being into like Bruce Lee, like you said, and like martial arts. It just shows that like you don't necessarily have to be of great physical stature to do one certain thing, like run fast or jump high. You can use your mind and really accomplish a whole lot, which was kind of like a stereotype. A lot of people think Black men are dumb, and that's why they can only do certain things. And that's like kind of breaking out of that mold and being able to see something different was very interesting to me.
You talked about the struggle. That was something the cosplayers said they liked about the anime stories and how that connected to the Black culture struggle.
Sure.
That's very interesting. So while I'm not surprised you're an anime fan, I was a little taken aback by your Merlin crush, because growing up, I would have taken you as somebody who would go for a more girl next door, like maybe Phoebe from Hey Arnold, the little nerd girl or something like that. So what was it about Merlin that made her stand out and be a crush that's lasted several years now?
Well, you gotta have a blend of like intelligence and sexiness and all of that. And I think Merlin had all of that. She wasn't like a big player or like a big front figure in the story, but when it was her time to shine, she really shined. And that's what I really liked about it, because that's what I always kind of characterize myself as, like a best supporting actor kind of person. I don't need to be in the limelight. And I'm a collaborator, so I'm really all about the team. And Merlin is very much about the team in her own special way. And that's what really connected me with her. The fact that she's a nerd, but the way that she's a nerd is not like a prototypical nerd. Like she'll show you that she's a nerd after she saves your life. That's amazing. I'm about that.
I like that you said you're the supporting actor. I just said yesterday that I was born to not be a leader, but to assist the leader, like a second in command.
That's right. And like, people, I mean, that's why there's awards like that, the best supporting actor, you know what I mean? Because you can be a really good actor and not have a good cast around you, and you will look terrible. But if you have the good number two, that makes everything like really work and really amplify that lead role. And that's why that I feel like that award or that recognition exists.
Yeah, exactly. Every leader needs that backbone. And I feel like we are those backbones.
That's right. That's right.
So you said you got really deep into the show, but it's the manga or manga? Manga. How do you say that?
Manga.
Manga.
I said manga.
Manga helped you helped to give you a greater appreciation of Merlin. How so?
Okay, so there's so many things in mangas that you can't portray or display in an anime in the animation, because it's an animation. Like, people are not, like, you don't have a lot of like screen time or frames to draw a whole bunch of stuff, like, to really convey these deep attributes or these deep abilities that these folks have. And when you're in the manga, like, you get it all, because like there's chapter after chapter after chapter, there's hundreds of chapters, but there's only like tens of shows, like animated shows, and like you can literally like develop a character in those books, and that's why a lot of people really gravitate towards the mangas. I gotta be saying it now. So there was like one specific scene, I guess, when Merlin was talking about like how she used her powers to basically go back in time to fix something about herself, or use an ability that she has, and then go back to the present time and actually use that power. And when I thought about it, I was like, no one in the team could have done that. No one in the team could have like been smart enough to do that or think about that in the heat of the moment to help out everybody the way that she did and not have one casualty. That is a level of intelligence that just spans far beyond what even like Meliodas could have ever did. Everybody has their like specific traits, and like her specific one with the magic, with the smarts, with all of that really showed up that time, and like it was a clutch moment, and she came through.
Well, time travel and magic aside, Merlin's wardrobe is definitely up there for many fans who crush on her. She rocks very little, and I think embodies a big part of what a crush like her is supposed to have, and that's the fantasy. Do you feel your mind is able to wander a little further when you daydream about Merlin than, say, it would if you were thinking about perhaps your other crush, Alicia Keys?
For sure, because in an anime, in drawings and things like that, there's lots of things that you can leave to be desired or not, and it still be socially acceptable. At least in some circles. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of that, and again, she does rock very, very little, and it still leaves a lot to be desired, I guess. To me, if you have a character that can have, like scantily clad but not really like trashy kind of attire, along with the abilities in her roles and when she shows up and everything, it's just a good combination. Because if you're like leaning too far one way, you're like the Phoebe from Hey Arnold, and like that character will get no love. On the other end, if she looks like a flippin' porn star, which she kind of does borderline, but has no smarts, what play does she get then? You know what I mean? So like the amount of both ends that she has, she's not like a dead middle, but she leans more towards like the scantily clad place. However, because of all of the attributes in the character buildup, it's accepted. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, she can wear stuff like that. She's been alive for eons. This is the form that she wants to have. Cool.
She's old enough
I'm good
to
with
wear
that.
what she wants.
Yeah, for sure. She's old enough. She's old enough.
She kind of touched on there has to be a balance, which we're talking about. We just mentioned Alicia Keys, and in recent years, she said goodbye to makeup and was praised around the world for it. Meanwhile, I've never worn makeup, and nobody gives me that kind of accolades. But anyway, I'm not mad about it. But here you are with a crush on Alicia Keys, someone who can rock natural face at like the Grammys, but also someone like Merlin who is super sexy. In your opinion, as someone on the inside, as a man, what do men favor more at the end of the day? Do they want those like dressed up makeup for the gods or sexy clothes, or are they okay with their wives just wearing sweatpants and no makeup? Because that's mostly what we've looked like the past year.
Definitely the latter, because it's definitely because again the character like build up, and then like if you're talking about spouses, like this person intimately in and out, you know what I mean, and like the first couple of dates and everything, they're all dressed up and everything like that, but once you start getting deeper into the relationship, you get a little bit more involved, all of the things that are superficial start to come down. They start to wither away because they are superficial and then very temporary. We as adults both know that. Mm-hmm. So if you're really starting to get really serious, then you've definitely gained the trust to know the real self and the actual self, the physical self that like, this is what I look like every day before I put my face on. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Grown folks are okay with natural. When you reach a level of maturity, I agree with that.
For sure, that's me. That's what it is all day.
So sticking with what men look for in a woman, Merlin has this mysterious vibe that I think adds to what she is and makes her very attractive. Do you feel men do like a little guessing game when it comes to women they find attractive? Do you like when they play coy in the bar?
For sure. I mean, like, you just take my wife for example. Like, I mean, I finally come to the realization that I wouldn't go through my entire life to the end of it and still not know everything I need to know about her. Just won't. And that level of mystique and mystery, and just shrouded in mystery and things like that, it definitely adds a creative flavor, you know what I mean, to life, which is what life is. Should be unpredictable most times, and just to give you enough, because like, think about it this way, like if anybody was like to be born and they knew exactly how their life was going to pan out, would it be as enjoyable?
Is your wife one of those like me where I'm like, no, you don't have to give me anything, but then it's like if you don't, I'm like,
For sure. And like, since we're like 6 years married, like we've known each other 10 years, like she knows that like, oh, okay, so if you're in like the thought process of getting me something, let's just figure out what tier, what are we trying to spend right now? Because I got something for every tier, you know what I mean? If you're really trying to ball out, I got something for that. If you're really trying to just go like, oh, like, because you can never go wrong with food, and that's a whole different category list in itself. But
food's always
it's for sure chocolate, certain types of chocolate, certain brands from certain places, just very much into the exotic stuff that like nothing basic. It's gotta be from overseas. It's gotta have date stamps on it. It's gotta be serious. So yeah, I've learned quite a bit.
Very strong will, which Merlin's also strong and determined. From reading about her, that's what I gathered. She's a strong and determined woman. Do you feel as if you were inspired by Merlin's determination in any way when it came time to take your knitting to new heights?
Oh, for sure. You know what I mean? Because like without determination, you're not gonna really make it very far because the higher you go, the more difficult things you're going to run into. That's going to require a deeper skill set, more of like more numerous skills to achieve said thing. And without determination, you won't have the drive to learn those things, to have patience to make it happen. And that's what I had to do, like for like the last decade plus. The more that I wanted to have the things that I wanted to have, and then transition into teaching other people how to do it, I had to take that journey on my own and figure out, hey, in order for you to do this, you need XYZ skills, and you need to be able to be above proficient in XYZ skills to create this thing, and then be able to teach somebody something like that. So, like, determination is like an understatement. It's almost like a prerequisite. You can't even talk about it. You got to have it.
So determination, sexy, all these things are things Merlin has, and we've talked about a little bit that your wife has. Are these things you've always looked for in women from the start?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Because you get drilled into your head. Saying behind every strong man there's a strong woman or a stronger woman. And like it's actually true. You know what I mean? Like I can literally say my wife is she is my better half. For more reasons than one. And just like right now, like I had to like take the back seat and watch our young daughter while she took our son to the dentist. Because I told her, he was like, why don't you want to take him? Because I was like, I don't like to see him suffer. I don't like to see him in pain. And she was like, well, I don't either, but one of us has got to do it. I guess it's going to be me. And I was like, oh, there you go.
We don't have kids, but we have a dog, and like that's just like us. Like when he has, like, our dog will shake, like he knows the vet. And the first time we got him, but we already had a trip planned, so we had to put him in the boarding kennel thing, and like he started shaking, and my guy started like crying and had to leave the office. I was like so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. He's like, I can't see him like that. And from now on, like he kept like, oh my Lord. So I think if we had children, he would definitely be the same way as you.
Oh, for sure. And like, I have no problem like, being showing my softer side or showing my sensitive side. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's my firstborn child. Like I'll do anything for him. I'll pay whatever price to get whatever done for him. But like I can't see it, you know what I mean? Because I'll get emotional and hysterical, all the other stereotypical women emotions in the heat of the moment. That'll be me. And it ain't gonna be fun. It ain't gonna be pretty, you know what I mean? Because the fact that I'm already a black man too, with the emotions and the perceived stereotypes, it's a problem.
The dentist is like, sir, are you
okay? I'm gonna show you what okay is. Like it'll be that. And my wife sees all of that and sees how it's gonna play out, because we've had some run-ins with prejudice. That's definitely another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. But she definitely knows how like I would get, once the rational side just fades out and like, crazy just steps in and doesn't go away very quickly. So yeah, she definitely knows. She's my better half for sure.
Well, if she happened not to be your better half, if you weren't married to your wonderful wife and life partner, and you could live the rest of your days with Merlin, what do you think your life with her would be like?
Oh man, it'd be a life of learning. I would literally be an apprentice that she finds something about me that she just couldn't recreate or go through time. I literally be like one in a zillion, once in a lifetime kind of deal, 1,000 lifetimes kind of deal, because she's literally lived that many lifetimes. So it had to be something about me that was pretty darn special. But I would be like the lifelong student in learning her ways and things like that, and just finding my ways to contribute. And I just be learning and living, through her experiences and growing that way.
Well, that's all my questions about Merlin, but I would love to talk to you a little bit about your knitting.
Bring it. I do it every
Oh,
day.
oh, how did you get into this? Because back in school, I would not have pegged this career move for you. Owning a business, though, most definitely. Like everybody, this guy is so freaking smart. He's like one of the smartest people in our class, probably to this day. So yeah, how did you get started in this?
Well, it was college, and I was in like a gender studies class or something with sociology. I keep wanting to say gender studies. I think it was. And there was this girl that was next to me, a couple of people away from me because it was a small knit class. University of Redlands, private school. Small classes. And she was, you could really do it whatever you want, liberal arts school. Um, she was like knitting this scarf that had skull and crossbones in it, and I was just like fascinated. Like everything I can remember like yesterday. Everything that the teacher was saying, I didn't hear it. I didn't care. That right there was it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask her if she can show me how to do that after class. And this literally took 3 weeks. 3 weeks of me begging her because she thought I was like really trying to hook up with her. Like this is the
You're
worst
like, no,
pickup line.
girl, I just want
Like
to
I
knit.
want like the needles. Like I need to know how you do that right there for sure. You know what I mean? It'd be the worst pickup line ever. But after a couple of weeks, she was all like, "Okay, fine. Go to Joanne's. Get this, and meet me back in my room." She was in an all girls room dorm, so like I got the fingerprints, pat down, the login. Like they knew who I was, like where I was, and how long I was there, the whole bit. I was like, this is just a dorm. This ain't like FBI headquarters. She's like, don't do me like that. You know what I'm saying? But like that's how it was almost like walking into like the mascara Wonder Woman was. Crazy. But I got all the stuff, and she had needles and everything, and she just showed me like the basic stuff: how to knit, how to purl, how to cast on, and that's really all I needed, just to like fiddle around and just like mess up stuff. And like that whole rest of that summer, I was in the heat in jeans in somebody's like apartment, just knitting my face off, scarves, long things, blankets, squares, whatever I could think of with my limited skill set. And that was 13 years ago. And I've definitely gotten a whole lot better, and I found a groove, a passion for it, and it just goes into everything. You know what I mean? I was just fascinated in the fact that like you could literally make what you wanted with your hands, and the only thing, and I tell people all the time, the only thing that like stands between you and what you want is skill set. Mm-hmm. You just got to know how to do it. If you know how to do it, what's stopping you? You know what I mean? And I've gone on a lot of like tirades and crusades on like store-bought stuff and machine-made things, trying to big up like the designers and handmade business and small business and things like that. Really found a community that embraced me, and I'm looking to do a whole lot more. So I teach it now. I hold classes and on Zoom and things like that. I sell yarn, I sell kits, I sell products. Like just trying to really get out there into the community because I'm looking to change the community for the better.
Yeah, I was gonna say what I love about what you do. It's like with the anime, you don't see a lot of Black people, especially Black men, at the forefront of anime. And in this case, knitting. Were there any nerves stepping into this realm where I mean, a lot of known Black men, and like really owning it? Like,
yeah, I'm definitely owning it, and like I'm not like I'm definitely in a league of my own. And there's some other folks that are out there. I guess they're just like not coming out of the woodwork. Your boy ain't got no problem being in the front. You got no problem with the light on him. You know what I mean? Like that's what I live. I live that. So like there's not so many like straight Black men, married, hetero, whatever other box you want to put your boy in. You know what I mean? It's just gonna really just isolate. But like that's like there were a lot of nerves because you know what I mean. You think about knitting. If you were like, let's say in the 80s, who was knitting? Old white women.
Yeah.
You talk about being polar opposite. You can't get more polar opposite than that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like old white women. Now you got like this younger, middle-aged Black man.
We're not middle-aged yet. We're still young. We're still hip. We're millennials, okay? We might be elder.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, my back is like a boomer, but
yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, gosh, man, like this is. I mean, and it's very heavily politicized. There's a lot of politics, a lot of backdoor stuff, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and people trying to maintain the status quo in the craft. And I had to learn that the hard way. You know what I mean? It's not all like sunshine and unicorn farts out here. Like it's serious. You know
Hey,
what I mean? Like
I'm friends with this girl who knits, and sometimes she'll mention the drama in the knitting groups, and I'm like, you guys are just making blankets. How are you guys getting this crazy? But
it gets nuts, you
every
know, and yeah. Yes, ma'am. And I had to figure it out the hard way. Like like it's crazy how like, you know, putting needles together with string from hair from a sheep could literally string you into, you know, political views and, you know, all these other kinds of things and ideology. I'm just like, yeah, I thought we was making hats. Where where the president come from? I don't. Is he in it too? Do I need to send him a letter? Like he need to what how?
So it sounds like there's so many different cliques, different groups. Which, speaking of, how did you land in the Facebook group ad?
Oh man, that was crazy. So you know, I was just doing me. You know what I mean? A lot of late nights, a lot of like staying up super late and learning all these skills and everything. And I was just busting out content, like video after video after video, not really knowing like this is gonna do this or this is gonna do that. I just knew when I did what I was doing, like it was always a big goal in mind. Like I was gonna get out of corporate America, I was gonna get out of the rat race, I was gonna start working for myself, or I'll just be a good number two for a company and live really well doing what I love to do. You know what I mean, while taking care of my family. So I was on that push. Videos, what's up? Da, 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 da. And a lady hit me when I was taking my kids to the doctor. I was like, hey, you have a pretty like big Facebook presence. I was like, me? For real? You talking about my guy? Like, and she called me and like, you know what I mean? Then I got put into this pool of people to be put into the make the cut. Then I ended up making the cut and doing all the things, jumping all through all the hoops that they wanted me to do, and they ended up picking me. And I was like, bruh, we about to kill it. Here we go. Opportunity.
Melissa from SNL. Is that who?
I don't know if it's Melissa. I think that might have been like the main person because we never really interacted with her. Mm-hmm. Like the production team pretty much just sent us all the production equipment and did everything remotely, which was awesome. And super fancy. We talking iPhone 12s, MacBooks, tripods, light bars.
Did you have to everything?
The equipment, yeah, but like the props and stuff like that, like they let me keep. Like, they let me keep mannequin heads for my hats. They knew I did hats. They let me keep that kind of stuff. So I was like, think about it, like, what are you gonna do with it past this? It's gonna sit in a warehouse somewhere. You really have no use for it. It was for that scene, and that's how the movie business works. You know what I mean? They'll just buy something just for the shot, and it's done. It was worth that was worth the money. Just like that.
That was like really cool to see. I was like, oh my god, I know you. So the Zoom classes, you're selling materials, you're selling hats. What are your plans from here on out for the business?
For the business, it's just just staying on top of like not necessarily the cutting edge, but really giving access. Like that's what me selling kits and teaching stuff is all about, because the big overarching vision is if the people at the bottom half of like new knitters, old knitters who just don't really know a lot of skills, if they can obtain the skills that the big bad hoity-toity nose up pinky finger people at the top of the hierarchy, if they have the same skills that they have with the access to the materials that they have access to, there ain't gonna be no hierarchy no more. And everybody gonna be different, and everybody gonna be even, not necessarily in a hierarchy. I'm trying to go after them, you know what I mean? And just really busting out and helping out the community that way, you know what I mean? Because this community is really about being, I guess, against fast fashion and machine made stuff, and like total automation and things like that. Because things being made by hand is a dying art, you know what I mean? And like these are kinds of skills that literally lift people out of poverty. You know what I mean? Like my biggest like dream is to like be real big and like be representative of a company, and then go back to the hood and start helping other people like learn how to like just work with their hands and just have that vision. It doesn't have to just be knitting. I know how to crochet. I know how to weave. I know how to do all those kinds of things. Sew and all that kind of stuff, and like being able to make your own stuff. You know what I mean? And like that will literally propel people as like a springboard to think of other things, to give them the determination and the drive to do other things. It doesn't have to be yarn, but it can start there, and that's where I'm at.
I have the same dreams. I would love to start a low income cooking class. I think, especially people on EBT, they don't know like how far their money can go because they just don't know
Yeah,
what options are out there. And I would love to teach that. I'd love to go back to Cabazon and Banning and teach these people
and
you can
back
cook what
home,
you have in your pantry from the
yes,
Dollar Tree. People, there are good
yes,
ingredients there. Just get creative.
yes.
Do you have any plans to maybe do like I would love to see like a little like black boy knitting crew or something like that. So
I'd be all about it. You know what I mean? It's just that, like, like time is a huge deal. Being a full time employee, manager, running a business, running my wife's business, kids, and all that. There's a lot of time. Like, that's definitely no excuse. I'm still like really getting into the community and seeing where the demand is and working with some other companies. I actually have another like engagement later on in April, like mid-April, with Lion Brand. Her shot Shira Roars, or like Shira Brumfield. Hope I'm saying her name right. But yeah, she actually picked me to be on the She Show. She's a big advocate for like hat not hate. So since I do a lot of hats, she makes a lot of blue hats that advocate anti-bullying. So I get to be I'm going to be on that. That's definitely going to help show me out to the world and everything like that. And like, who knows what can come from it. I'm all about it. I'll teach anyone anything. You know what I mean? And I just feel like being a math teacher and coming from where I came from, especially the folks back in the hood, like I know how to talk to you and I can get you to learn how to do this if you got the patience and the drive to do it. Hell, I even give you the materials. What you need?
I love it.
Nothing but
I love the positivity, the determination, and the drive. Willie, can you tell the people where they can find you online?
yes, ma'am. So Instagram, Willie Nillie Knits. No Y's anywhere. It's all IE's. So Willie Nillie Knits. Is Facebook. Either my name Willie Smith. You'll see me, my black face and my family. You know what I'm saying? You can't miss your boy. So and also on Facebook, Black Sheep Crafts. They wouldn't let me change my name to Willie. I got to keep it Black Sheep Crafts. That was the pioneer. That's where I started. YouTube, Willie Nillie Knits. Try to keep everything nice and just streamlined. So those are the main places I'm on. You can email me, willienillieknits@gmail.com. Get at your boy, you know what I mean? We can get some things popping. And it's all about the community. It's all for the craft.
Well, Willie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your animated crush Merlin with me today. And everyone, you can find all of Willie's information below. And until next time, keep crushing it.